This is Joanna from Universal Love and Light Wisdom. I have a bit of a story today. I wrote this story a couple of days ago, and I was inspired to share it. My teens and the Holy Mother Father are excited that I'm sharing my story. This came after a vision that I had in a meditation recently about these beautiful mythical energies that I've been dealing with through my transformation in these phases of resurrection, really. And this story is based energetically. I'll read what I wrote, and then there will be energetic insertions. But this story is based on the journey of the soul, and when we agree to separate from our Most High, our oneness with Source, that cosmic egg of Source, and we move into the lower fragmentations of dimension, our soul becomes fragmented to experience the different themes and experiences that we choose as the soul, to experience evolution, to experience the dynamics of polarity, duality, and the many other lessons that are learned through the various dimensions and the various experiences that we all take on. And in that, the sacred embrace that we create in the stages of resurrection, the resurrection phase is the acknowledgement and the forgiveness and the acceptance of those fragments in the now moment. So that this now moment of forgiveness, this now moment of acknowledgement and acceptance of thyself, of all that is, because we're playing these fragments out in our everyday reality. The lessons that we serve in those fragments, we play them out in our physical reality. And those that can sense the subtleties of the soul themes and the lessons can feel that it belongs to many other dimensions and realities. But in this experience, moving back into my reunification with Source in my unique way, in my unique story, and the themes that I've come to experience and play out and be a part of within the collective, I saw this beautiful dragon stand before me. This 20-story dragon stand before me, and the dragon's eye was level with my eye, and it was the most profound experience of remembrance of the sojourns that we move through in the process of the delineation of ourselves from Source, from that pure resemblance of love, of unconditional acceptance, unconditional love, unconditional joy, unconditional elation for who we are as beings, as essences of experience. And this dragon was mirroring to me the reflection of me within it and it within me. And I began to reflect upon how many of the experiences that the collective has been moving through for eons, and many of why we return and incarnate, is for that reunification sojourn to Source, to that unconditional acceptance, that unconditional love of who we are as Source, that threading with Source, and all else is illusory. But those illusions can be quite powerful for us to transcend and move through, and why we come back often, time and time again, is because those illusions are so deep and threaded within the DNA, the water body, that oftentimes, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, those certain themes or lessons don't necessarily get resolved. And so there's no fear or worry in that, for there's always dispensation, there's always those graces of God, because that's the lessons that we come for are to truly accept and love ourselves wholly. And when we do so, then those dispensations are graced. Those dispensations are gifted and blessed. And I know this to be true for a very divine interaction and entanglement with Source throughout my awakening. Divine dispensations, the divine elegance and grace that Source is, the divine eminence and the song that is Source, the song that is forgiveness, the song that is unconditional love, the song that is resurrection, is very real, and it's very divine, and it's very profound in one's journey. And this dragon was my representation of the many eons that I had negated my unique, miraculous self as source. In regardless of what dimension it comes from, because oftentimes I can't tell what dimension or realm or thread it comes from or reality, but I can sense that many of them are related to also themes that were played out here on Earth, that we're all here to heal. But the dragon represented that perfection of self in the most grand and elegant and grandiose way that one can imagine, the most grand essence of being in a most elegant mythical form, that many upon Earth have diluted or misconstrued and misunderstood its elegance, and given them many scary texts and many scary myths. And I'm here to bring balance and bring beauty and elegance to the dragon in what it represents as the ancient symbol of the grand self, through time, through ancient lineage, through ancient cosmic space that we are all a part of within our cosmic cosmic chemistry. And this dragon was so very soft and elegant and beautiful, and this beautiful dragon eye, the size of my head, was looking at me and in my eye, and it was just so gentle and beautiful and soft. But this represented those particles and aspects and fragments of me that I had refused to acknowledge, to garner as me, to beautify as me, to accept and acknowledge as me throughout the many journeys. And we do so in a myriad of ways, which you'll see by my story. And how may you reflect upon the elegance of all that you are in any divine design that you might create for yourself, because we create these symbols and creatures and divine experiences so that we may reunify with those fragments of ourselves that are so grand and are so beautiful and are so elegant and so sacred. And the cosmic energies and the celestial energies that we're all moving with right now are for every individual, if they so desire, upon their awakening, upon their moving through their own life experience, how we've defined ourselves, how we've placed ourselves in boxes, how we have put ourselves in containers and containments that no longer serve the vastness of the soul that we are becoming, the vastness of the soul that we have accepted and honored through our awakening and forgiveness process. And there are aspects of those fragmented parts that are still hidden in pain and illusory energies that continue to hold us back and want to be still confined in socioeconomic descriptions, definements, or systems of structure, and how we are all bringing everything back to the balance of elegance that Source is, that Spirit, Mother, Father, God is. And so here's my story of the dragon. And feel free to move about this in a pondering and loving and imaginative way of how you may create a mythical essence of who you are, and how that mythical essence is the complete liberation. And this is the underpinnings of my story, is our own unique choice and timing and divine oneness with Source that we choose through our own journeys and our own lessons and our own reawakenings and our own self-love and forgiveness. The acceptance of the self is the liberation of the divine body, the divine heart, the divine mind, spirit, and soul. And this dragon represents it. So it's a very beautiful story, and it's coming from my heart. The dragon, so glorious and beautiful, and yet the townspeople shriek at its massive elegance. And so she hides behind and within and beyond what most can recognize, to feel as if somewhat normal can be achieved, being so grandiose. The divine, the elegantly dangerous to take in. Soak your eyes and heart upon its opalescent skin. Through the eons of false myth and stories and misconstrued aggression, the dragon feels the piercing rejection of every gasp of disapproving eyes or hearts or turns of backs. For eons, dear ones, the dragon skims and passes between worlds and cosmic dimensions, offering those with a curious heart to ponder. Their elusive presence, still and powerful within each of us, how very sacred each of us are, and how we have moved away from this sacredness in our defining, and in our wanting to become like all others, in our wanting to shed our uniqueness. The dragon, dear ones, the embrace, the voice, the reconciliation of our most unique and divine inner beauty. Always on a journey for our own acknowledgement, for our own acceptance, for our own embrace, for our own assimilation within all that we are within the cosmic nest that is the universal heart, that is now mending, in our own oneness and reunification within pure love. For how could we condemn and turn our backs on any part of who we are, however it may look or feel or play out in our memories or our dreams? How have we turned our backs on ourselves so that we may fit in with social norms or status or quos that have been told or shown or taught to us, that we knew within our hearts didn't feel who we were as authentic beings? How have we rejected ourselves in any way? How have we judged or condemned or hidden away to conform to outdated systems or enslaved notions of acceptance? For we are spirit, and how can this be any other than perfection? This is key, for it relates to the deconstruction of what each of us have come to move through, that we've each come to co-create and dismantle. The leash of limitation in every way that we have felt and we have constrained and put upon ourselves. How have we defined and rejected ourselves? For the very act of defining is rejecting, if it's done so in a way that's not pure within our hearts. Have our definitions been self-serving within spirit and love? How have we defined ourselves or hidden or allowed ourselves to be defined within the social experiences sexually, physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually? And how may we revisit how we can bring liberation and honor and honesty to all that we are as multidimensional spiritual beings of love and light? How may we infuse the love of all that we are as spirit, the essence of sacredness of all that we are as spirit, and stand boldly within it? This is claiming our power. To stand within one's power, one must move through that process of forgiveness and acknowledgement through all that you are and accepting oneself as all that you are. That's power. Love is power. To stand within all that you are and how you have judged and condemned yourself, to come to a higher state of consciousness and awareness of you. And that grand mythical creature becomes a part of that golden realm of divine essence, of you knowing you, of you loving you, of you acknowledging you. How have we held back expressing who we are for the fear of the rejection or it not being of the social norms? How do we limit or constrain our innate desires, the intimate loving care that we each need for ourselves, because others might feel or sense it being selfish or inappropriate for our own selves to take care of our own selves, or to be intimately engaged with the earth when so many others seem to be turned off or unaware? How may we step beyond and beyond the labels that we've given ourselves in the pre-made boxes and social definitions? This is what each and every one of us are here to step beyond. And how may we release the leash of limitation to truly own and honor and accept all that we are, our fears, face them to own them. To know that these fears are a part of those fragments that desire our recognition to become whole again. To feel our own connection with all that is for our connection within thyself, within all that is, for we are the all. And any fears that we manifest before ourselves, or situations that we manifest before ourselves, is that very reason for us to walk within the presence of it and to say, I'm a part of this, and how may I love this and accept this and become whole with it? So that the grandeur of all that I am is not repressed in any way, is not hidden, and does not get turned away. For I'm confident and loving in who I am. And it's okay that I'm unique and special. And it's okay that I can come forward and speak my valued truth. For within the very sacred seed of all that I am, there is my truth. And my truth is valued. And my truth is purposeful. And my truth is needed and required here. For my truth carries the spirit and that essence of source that so many eons has been turned away and rejected. And those fragments of that soul self, as every perfect scale upon that dragon, the beautiful skin that has been termed grotesque to some, and the stories that have been created around such mythical creatures of grace and elegance. How have we misconstrued the grace of all things? For within the grandeur, within the elegance, there is the heart of source. There is the essence of acceptance and pure unconditional love. There is the grandeur of the ancient wisdoms and knowledge that all carry within. And each form bringing us to the elegance and the diversity and the uniqueness and the specialness of who we are in all forms, in all things, in all people, in all lands, in all animals, in all insects, in all breath. And how may the dragon within each and every one of us, regardless of how we each imagine it and co-create within it, be that fire of passion that allows deeper and wider and more expansive moments of self-acceptance of the emotions that move through us, of the fears that change and startle us and allow us to go into hiding, even further repressing the elegance within that is source. For allow all that you are to come forward and face you eye to eye. For there is the elegance and the softness and the grace. And when you stand boldly enough, dear lighted ones, and we say this with great pause, and the images and the stories of eons of misunderstanding, and the eons of anger and separation and hate and control, allow you to stand in stillness for just long enough to face any one of your fears, any one of your judgments, any one of your condemnments. You will see the unconditional love of Source. So still and so elegant and soft, so profound. And it takes but your reaching out to say, I accept you. I accept you and I forgive myself and all others for any judgment that has brought you any less than perfect. Because I am you and you are me. And this is the divine journey of humanity. How may we release the definitions that allow all others to feel less than or different or disenfranchised? And how may we raise the hearts of all to be the most empowered, the most loved and held on high? How may we look within ourselves and in all moments that we have those silent self-talk moments, and before the sentences are finished, we can allow ourselves the self-love and the self-honor and the self-acceptance that we deserve, for we are pure love, and we are not scary in our uniqueness. For this uniqueness will take this entire collective and the whole entire earth into new dimensions of beauty and grace and play. For we're forgiving all of our moments that we have judged difference and uniqueness in our creative experiences and journeys. And they're being brought back into the fold of who we are, for our own forgiveness and our own acceptance and our own acknowledgement, for the misconstrued stories, for the timelines in which we felt separate. For we are each the grace and the elegance of Source, divine and holy Mother, Father, Spirit, God, Creator, with our own unique stories and our own unique journeys through time and space, through cosmic realms of dimension. We face ourselves in every way, and we stand in our own power and we stand in our own light, for there is nothing to fear. It's me, it's us, it's one. And how may we release those judgments that create war and dissension and separation and every turning of the back, so that we face each other, and we face each other with joy and acceptance and allowance, so that the freedom of expression and the freedom of who we are as love and co-creators of Source be the story of grace that it has always been meant to be. For there is great elegance in uniqueness, for each of us are. And with each of our journeys, we come with those challenges to overcome and those fears to face. And through each one, there will be Source within it all. Within all stories, Source is within it all. And you release the veils of illusion, and you drop them and let them go in your own desire and the purity of your will to transform and transmute, so that you become the softened, sacred soul that you are. For you are the revolution that is love. And how may you and your dragon, or your Pegasus, or whatever creature that you so desire to co-create, be the blessing in the heart of Source Creator that you are, in your imaginings and in your beautiful exploring and expression and experience of who you are on new waters and new realms of new peace and love. How may you be as expansive as you are and soar, and allow your wings to unfurl in your own self-love and in your own acceptance, so that you stand boldly in all that you are as light. You stand boldly in all that you are as love. And those fears are transmuted in your acceptance and embrace of them. Embrace your fears, for they are showing you that there's an acceptance there to be had. That there's a part of you that's on the complete polarity of that fear, that's allowing you to see this new story that's about to unfurl. Where the collective fear of separation becomes the collective triumph and victory of oneness. And how may we each create those moments of peaceful prayer, that whatever turbulence may arise, that we stand in the knowing that we are one within the peace of it and the oneness of it. For these are our heartfelt desires in coming together in this powerful lifetime, so that nothing may topple us or wobble us, so that no fear or energy or entity, for we stand in the name and in the heart and in the love of who we are, for we know we have traversed every terrain. Through the cosmic waters of here and there, we have traversed. And it is oneness and love that we stand, in one and all, accepting our uniqueness, accepting our specialness, and allowing our oneness from our hearts of gold to be transmuted within something new, and new realms are created in this oneness, in this knowingness, in this purity of who we are as we walk. This I know to be true. So welcome the miracle within your heart, dear one. You are the elegance of every creature and every aspect of life. You are sacred, you are sacred, you are sacred. You are the love, you are the blood, you are the breath. You are the spark of God and the sacred seed. Holy and soft. And so it is.